This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on!
Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast, episode number 102? Yeah, I was trying to. This week's been crazy, and it's actually only Tuesday. We're recording early this week because I'm traveling up to Northern Illinois to go visit the shooting locations for the movie Groundhog Day, taking my son up to go check out Woodstock, Illinois. For any of you fans of the movie Groundhog Day, was actually where all of it was shot. So they even have a plaque on the ground where the puddle was, all that. So my son and I are going up Thursday just to go wander the town because that's his favorite movie ever. And I'm looking forward to it. So I'll mention it next week, kind of how it went. But the drink of the evening first is a local Iowa one. And sure enough, I put the bottle somewhere and I don't remember the exact name, but it is a locally made Iowa one. I will put a link to it in the video and audio, but cheers to everybody. Cheers. I should have had that a while ago and then got sidetracked with other things. And as always, thank you, Mitch, our wonderful sponsor for the Drink Your Face Off line of barware and clothing. Reach out to Mitch. I know he's put pictures up today of the aluminum cups that he has with the logos and stuff on them now. And yep, as Paul is showing off the Masked Men of Teal. I do love that logo. Yes. And the Drink Your Face Off both. I love those. I just love those cups. Those things are badass. Lots to get to tonight. The biggest thing we'll get to just a little bit is Wade is fresh back from landing after being at the Meigray Expo, spending some time out in New Jersey. So I am very excited to hear stories, who you talked to, how many autographs you signed, all that cool stuff. I know the pictures don't look like a great time, so I'm very excited to talk about that. Paul, you've got some expo dates.
Yeah, it's well, Monica and I finally booked our tickets for Germany. So we're heading to the Dusseldorf Expo.
And you leave tomorrow.
And we leave tomorrow. And the Expo is August 29th. So it's going to be a nice long trip. And I think the puppies are going to miss us.
Yes.
No, we're not going quite that long, but we're going for about 10 days. We're hitting a couple soccer games. And then there's a lot of events around the Expo. But the actual Expo in the facility is Saturday, August 30th, and the next Sunday the 31st. There's also like a get-together the night before, and Stefan puts on just an incredible show. I think there's a barbecue one of the nights and another event after Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. But highly recommend it. If you're thinking of going, book tickets soon. Airfare to Germany is surprisingly still pretty cheap that time of year. It just... for a few reasons, a lot of Europeans are not coming over here for vacation, and that opens up a lot of flights in both directions because they do have to go back. So it's, we're flying into Dusseldorf, which there's no direct flights from the U.S. there, but you can fly direct from, LAX or SFO or New York into Frankfurt, which is only like 90 minutes away. So it's, if you're thinking of going, look into plane tickets now. You might be surprised how cheap they are. So that's a Germany Expo. The other one, we'll trying to plan a Frozen 4 Expo this April. And looks like we're closing in on a location. What we're leaning towards is the semifinals for the Frozen 4 are Thursday, April 9th. And then we do setup and a get-together Friday night, April 10th. And then the Expo Saturday morning, ending in time to get to the final game, which starts at either 4 or 5, because East Coast, I think it's 5, so I think they want an 8 o'clock East Coast start, but we'll see what happens. So hopefully we'll have more news on that in a week or two. So
that would be super cool being there. And I mean, Wade, when you did yours and the timing with the games and everything, that thought that went so well.
And I mean, it's a wonderful time. It was great going to everything in St. Louis, and I'm hoping we get a big crowd out in Vegas. We've done this for Chicago about 10 years ago, maybe longer. Wade had the St. Louis one, and now it's hard to turn down a trip to Vegas.
And
so
I think honestly, pretty much from anywhere, flying to Vegas is cheap.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I am definitely putting it on my calendar. So I'll be in Vegas. Hopefully I meet the call girl of my dreams.
Pole dancers in every corner in the expo room.
We might need to redo the contract.
You got any other expos, or is that the couple to cover?
Those are the two I wanted to bring up. I mean, of course, we got Wade's coming up in it's October, right?
October, yeah. It's coming up quick. I'm going to start. You'll see some more info and announcements coming soon. I talked to a couple people at the Meigray show about a couple different things that we might try to add. So I'm pretty excited.
Wonderful.
News to follow.
More to follow. Next week, we'll go down a full expo rundown, because I know
Perfect.
Hershey's coming up, South Jersey. I'm sure we're working for the San Jose Expo to meet with the people from the Barracuda to find a right date for that. And then Southern Cal's in a holding pattern too, and hopefully they'll know soon when that will happen. But the big thing for us scheduling the San Jose show is we're waiting for the NHL schedule to drop tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow, yes. Wait, and
might
it'll be
be
good for
today when you
Wade
listen.
too, with St. Louis, because then we'll know if we've got a home game or not that Saturday.
I always look forward and hope that we catch the right weekend for a game. So fingers crossed.
From the auction side, not a ton. Paul's going to cover a couple auctions here in a minute. The Buffalo Sabres one I mentioned last show, that does close on this Sunday. So it's set to home, road, and alternates still out there. So just 5 days to go, but that is still out there. And Paul, you've got a couple you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, one I didn't mention before the show was we didn't discuss it last week, but the Colorado auction closed. And I think that what was McCarr at, like $17K for 2 jerseys, if I remember right.
Yes, vaguely correct. And I don't have the unfortunate link in front of me. I didn't think to pull it up.
Yeah, I just, when you mentioned auctions, oh yeah, we forgot to mention that one. But there were some pricey ones in that one, as expected. The Ratinen didn't go for as much as I thought it would. I didn't know how him being traded twice would have affected the price, but clearly it was hurt. So, so the auctions I wanted to talk about this is our weekly Celebrini watch, and I'm not sure which auction this is, but that closed earlier this week. It looked like they did extended bidding, and Logan or Mitch can correct me on this, where they kept incrementing the counter 2 minutes if there was a bid that came in. The Celebrini, we believe it's his third period first game jersey, sold for $9,600, which might be the cheapest Celebrini out there so far.
Yeah, I was going to say, that seems awfully low, and I understand it's one period, but it is first game.
Yeah. Paul, do you think that's going to be a trend because he wore so many and now the must-haves have kind of gone away? Do you think they will trend down for a little bit, even though they're still rookie jerseys? Like, where do you see the price next year for something like that for the Smith and for the Celebrini for second-year jerseys?
I'd like to think they'll come down a little. I'm sure Celebrini's going to keep wearing a bunch of jerseys because they know they can sell them. And it would be nice to see him come down to about like 7,500 or something, because he didn't win the Calder.
Yeah.
He's going to have a sophomore slump. I'm calling it now. We could compare his jerseys to Bedard jerseys, but none of those get sold, so that doesn't give us a good data point.
Yeah, thanks,
there.
Chicago Blackhawks.
Yes, yeah, and McDavid was too long ago. Thank you, Doc. So yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see. So I'd like to think the pricing's going to come down for his second-year jerseys, and we don't know how many rookie jerseys are still out there, which haven't been sold yet. So there is an upcoming Shark sidewalk sale we always ask questions about this stuff, and we get some answers, but we probably will not get a definitive answer on this.
Good.
At the same auction, there was also the Smith third period jersey. That had only 2 bids on it and sold for $5K. The first day it went up for auction, someone else bid $5K. There's no reserve type bidding on this yet. Whatever bid you put in for the Sharks, that's your bid. So someone bid $5K, no one outbid them, so they won that one, and that closed right on time. The other auction I found interesting, Saginaw is having an auction right now, and there's a Michael Missa jersey, the second pick by the Sharks. 6 days to go in the auction, and that's at $6K already.
Jeez.
Yes. So I'm assuming those were legit bids to get it up there, but I do not know. So.
And I didn't know who he was. You sent the link, and honestly, I probably should know some of these names. I did not know who he was. Looked him up, and just got dumped on with news articles in the last 24 hours saying he will most likely be in San Jose in the fall playing. And I'm betting that's why that spiked that like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're in a fantasy hockey draft. You should know about them.
There's a lot of people to keep track of, Paul. Come on. I mean, we've only been drafting for what, 6 days, 7 days now, whatever the hell.
Yeah, something. I might even be on the clock soon again. So.
But it is crazy to keep track because that's the big risk. Oh yeah, he's gonna go. He's an awesome player, gonna go to San Jose in the fall. What if he gets hurt in training camp and is done for the year, done for his career? Is that $6,000 jersey then worth a damn?
No. Junior jerseys are always weird to me because the pricing on them is like when a guy first comes up, they seem to be really high. And then once a guy's kind of in the league, like trying to move a junior jersey after you've invested a bunch in it, unless it's something crazy, seems to be a pretty tough sell in some markets.
Yeah, especially at $6K.
That's crazy. That's crazy money, right?
Yeah.
I mean, putting 1,000 into a junior jersey or 1,500 or $2,000 is still kind of risky. But when you start talking 5, 6, 7K, he better be Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw the 6K. And thank you to Mitch for pointing that one out to me. One thing to say about him coming to San Jose, I'm assuming what's going to happen is he's going to come here, play 9 games for the Sharks, and then get sent back to the CHL.
Yep, they don't burn his contract.
Yeah, so I can slide 1 year. And if I'm wrong on any of that, Terry can correct us later. So.
I wanted to mention a jersey auction that actually ended earlier this week, and I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt. I should have put a thing out for looking for other interested pieces. And we actually mentioned it in our group chat, but there were some questions on how many of these were actually worn or whatnot. But the Bloomington Bison, who I've covered at length being local, did kind of a cool auction. This being the end of their first year, they did a 9 jersey auction pack. It was jersey number 74. I know some guys have worn them. They were either up and down guys, whatever. But it was a home, away, an alternate, a Batman Night jersey, Hockey Fights Cancer, military, an Elf movie one, Star Wars Night, and St. Patrick's Day. And you got the entire lot. Ended up closing on Sunday, I believe, for $1,000.39.
Deal.
And I did actually reach out to the team asking, hey, were these worn? And the answer I got was not a solid yes or no. They really couldn't confirm which ones were worn when. But their answer was, it is unknown if which jerseys were game worn, if any. All jerseys have no name on the back. Going forward, teams, if you're going to do something like this, at least try and figure out, even look to see if there's game use on them. And I know some of them like the Batman Night or 1 night or 2 night jerseys at all. But I mean, if honestly, if I'd have had that kind of money, I'd have probably thought about buying them. It's just over $100 a jersey.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a cool auction that they had. And because I have a white, I'd love to get a home and a third, but that's down the road. But just kind of wanted to mention and bring that one up. To Meigray, the only other sale related stuff before we get into the big talk here is Meigray sale started on Saturday. It goes till September 1st. If you go out to meigray.com, you can get all the details of what's for sale. And I kind of went through the stuff and like what is on sale at what price. They even put the clearance jerseys on sale, which is really kind of cool as well. But that leads us into the traveling Wade Hampton. Took his bathrobe and went on the road.
One other auction is the NHL auctions does have a home, away, and alternate set of the Buffalo Sabres jerseys up right now. I think those have 5 days to go.
Can I loan you my hearing aids? I mentioned that about 5 minutes ago.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed it. So
I just mentioned it really quick because I touched on them last week. But yeah, they on Sunday.
I just was losing my mind.
You still have jet lag from Jersey and all that pizza.
I do. I had a lot of pizza. I had a really good time. I'm going to kind of give everybody like a full synopsis of the thing. I flew out on Friday, went and met some friends from my time living in New Jersey. So my Friday was fun. Met friends. Went to my favorite place for lunch. Had mussels marinara. Had a bunch of pizza. Great conversation. Ran by and visited some more friends, and then made my way to the Meigray warehouse. Ahead of the sale, they were kind enough to offer me the ability, and a few other people. I saw other people there, but they had opened up basically on Friday where you could kind of come and do a tour. And the coolest part was they let you walk around and look at stuff. I mean, obviously, like the special stuff that was in their $200 and $500 were put away, and certain areas were kind of off limits. But as far as the racks with the game worn jerseys and all that, you could go, and it was a neat way to go and put your hands on something that was maybe a regular priced item or an item that you thought was going to end up going on sale or that would have become on sale the next day, and touch them and look for wear and check repairs and do all that stuff. It was my first time in the warehouse, and I had a few friends who were just intrigued by how I would feel about it. And it was very impressive. It's very well organized. I think Matt McGonnell was disappointed he didn't get to see the look on my face when I went in, but it was good. So in harping back, the only thing was it's impressive and it's so well organized and it's so clean and put together. And the reason I say that is I want people to realize that for when they're doing business with Meigray in the future. I think that's one of the things it was impressive to me was how pristine everything was, right? And that was impressive. But I had a great time doing that. The only thing that I could harpen it to was I have been before Steiner went out of business, I had been to New Rochelle and been in their warehouse before where they did all the Yankee stuff and all the Knicks stuff and all the Ranger stuff and all the teams that they had. So I guess that mentally prepared me for what I was looking for when I got into Meigray. But it was the warehouse was neat. I had a really nice time doing that Friday night visit there. And then I went
sorry, real quick before we go on from that, what was the thing you saw in there that just completely knocked your socks off?
God, the amount of jerseys is impressive. The amount of sticks they had was impressive. I want to say the thing that knocked my socks off more than anything else was the organization. Again, I think that was a thing that made me go, wow, like these guys really have this put together. So it was very impressive on how well it was put together and maintained. You can tell that there is care put into how they do that. So that was, I think right off the bat, that's my number one takeaway from there. From there, I went and did a few things, checked into my hotel, did whatever, and then Ice Violence. Yeah, I had that at the Friday night jersey trade that Ice Violence puts on. Hoagie and those guys all do a really nice job promoting that and putting it together. I had pizza there. They actually provided us pizza, which is fantastic. Another really good New Jersey pizza. So I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the hospitality of that. Had a good time watching everybody kind of look at stuff and get a little bit of a preview. And plus, that's a great meet and greet before the Meigray show. So you're able to, kind of connect to some people ahead of time, right? And I think there's some deals that are set up and some stuff that moves there, and people are allowed to showcase some stuff that they're looking to move, which I think allows people to put deals together later. So had fun doing that. So got to the Meigray show the next morning. Got set up, got in early, got set up. The room's fantastic. It's at the college there. Really nice room. Great hospitality by Meigray. They have it really set up just right from the beginning. Impressed with my booth space, and the coordination of everything getting put together was really, really well done. Met a lot of collectors. I guess I'm going to stop at this point and just say how much I appreciated how many people came by to introduce themselves or say hi, who were fans of the show or knew me from the hobby, but maybe had never met me. But I had an absolute great time just interacting with people, and had fun putting up a blues display and showing off some St. Louis stuff. But the people are what make these shows, the interaction, the friendships, the new friendships. So had a really nice time with that. I obviously took your and my trading cards, and I guess I told you, I sent it to you later. I said I came home with just like a couple of them, right? I think I took like 40 sets, and I think I brought home like 4 sets, which means that like 36 people were crazy enough to want your and my pictures and signatures representing the show. We got to get a Paul one at some point, obviously. I'm working on getting. If somebody could find the picture of the 3 of us together from the Frozen 4 show, please send it to one of us because we want to put a card together. But no, it was great, and I had a blast. To kind of go over the show, Meigray has everything very, very well run and very set up. Whether or not it was the Brian Prop speech, I thought was great. He does like a little meet and greet. They set up chairs and do that whole thing. Very well organized, very, very well put together there. My favorite part was doing I decided I was going to do the whole thing, so I did the grab bag, which was great. I got spot 11 out of 40. And my take is behind me, my Eric Holla jersey was my take from the raffle. That was really neat. It was neat to see. I think the one thing that I took away from that was obviously, Meigray does the teams that they have. And, obviously I think pick number 1 was kind of a no-brainer. The Hughes jersey is just a heads and shoulders kind of above, I think, the other one's number 1 choice, right? Beyond that, there was probably, 3 or 4 of them that I think can fill in those other spots kind of equally. And then I think the thing that was the most fun about the grab bag was watching people make their decisions and seeing how people chose, because there's a certain segment of our hobby that are wear whores, that they want everything tore up, they want as much wear as possible. There's other people, they're style collectors, they're team collectors, they're player collectors. The one neat thing that Meigray did was that rack of jerseys is actually like right inside the door when you first get there, and I think 3 or 4 of the top ones were on stands, but it was really fun to watch how many people went over and fingered their way through those to get their hands on them, to touch them, to look, so they could maybe decide. It was fun to watch people, say, what number they had in the drawing. I know there were some trades that happened, which I thought was really, really neat.
And I was going to actually ask that. Do you know how they, and again, it may not be public knowledge, but how they made the deals to move up the trade list?
Yeah, John was one of the traders. I think what he did was, I think that he was asking people if they had a spot or whatever. I don't want to get into too many of the details, but I think there was like, a jersey deal that was going to happen, and then the spot got changed hands. So it was neat. I mean, like I think there was a couple of those that happened, or maybe, I know the one big one was that because it was still in the top numbers of jerseys, but that was fun. I mean, I think it's so much fun to watch people trade and do all that. And around the room, there was a very eclectic amount of collections. There were some really, really nice dealer displays and items for sale and trade. And then there were some really, really proud displays of collectors who are clearly, fans of their team or their player or whatever. So the room was full of a lot of color and it was a lot of fun. And there was, goalie mask, and the Hockey Hall of Fame brought an amazing display of items. And Meigray had some really, really amazing stuff, even outside of the hockey. You don't really get to walk into a room very often and see a Tom Brady game used jersey next to a Michael Jordan jersey, next to a Kobe Bryant jersey, next to a Wayne Gretzky jersey, and then all the Ovechkin stuff. I mean, it was a really, really fun room, and I had a really nice time. So I'm going to get lost in this, but well put on by Meigray, fantastic hosts. It was a good time. So I guess my only other takeaway was, obviously after the show, they open up the warehouse. The one thing about that is there's a lot of people I think that leave early to go set up. And I guess my only wish on that would be, and I guess this is my take on it, and this is just my opinion of it, would be I think it would be great because there's a lot of people that maybe don't invest in the show that leave to go set up shop waiting outside to get first into the lobby of the warehouse sale, which I totally understand. But I think that takes away from the people that maybe have set up or that like invest in the show, because it is hard to get over there and get in the front of the line when people have left it, early or didn't even come to the show and got in the front of the line. I guess the only thing I'd like to see there would be, I think that if you buy a grab bag spot or you set up at the table, there should be a priority, or at least the opportunity to have front access because you're invested in the show or because you set up or because you spent the money on the grab bag. I don't think you should be punished for having to stay the whole time at the show, right? So they still do a great job of organizing that. There was a ton of people outside there, but it was hard to get to the front of that line if you were supporting the show fully, right? But yeah, I know they handed out, I think my ticket number, I was like 40 something in line by the time I got there after I closed up shop at the show, cleaned up my area and said my goodbyes. So, and I didn't get there very soon after the show closed. So, and I think there were people that had ticket numbers, 70 and above. So a ton of people went into that warehouse. Those $200 and $500 racks were, I think, a huge hit. And I think that might have been why there were so many early setups and, or early departures or early people waiting in line. And God knows, I'm a fan of waiting in line. I just, I've done it many times. Doc's done it many times. I know Paul's done it many times. I just would like to see, like, if it was, in my opinion, I would love to see that be a little bit more balanced out to help out the people that were at the show for the full venue of the show, right? But inside the warehouse, they did a great job of it did take a while to get through the lines because there were so many people and so many things to look at. And they did a great job of protecting order, I guess is the best way to say it, with the way that they introduced people into getting into the $200 and $500 racks and limiting the amount you get your first time through, which was 3, which I thought was great. I think that was a great way to protect people from going in and binging in there and then, maybe looking just to flip or turn jerseys, which obviously is your priority or prerogative. But I think the priority there, I think for all of us would like to be those going to collectors. So I don't know. Jump in, ask me a question, help me out here. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No. I mean, I think that's a very concise rundown. And were you surprised? Because I'm assuming you looked at both the $200 and the $500 racks. Were you surprised what was on on both of those racks?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think they hit a lot of home runs. You could get a lot of. I mean, here, like my stack behind me, and I'll just go over it. That's a Braden Shen I got off the $500 rack. That's a Jaden Schwartz I got off the $500 rack. Both former Blues, great style jerseys. I already pointed out my hollow, which is my grab bag. And then I was actually able to add a style Ryan O'Reilly jersey that I didn't have that was actually kind of planned that I was going to pick up one white Ryan O'Reilly Predators jersey when I was there. I had an idea which one I wanted, but my goal was to not buy it ahead of time because I wanted to incorporate that as something I brought back from my trip, because I think it's a fun way to have that as a memento of my show, and it's part of my collection permanently for my Ryan O'Reilly collection. And what better way not to wait for it to come in the mail, but to actually like pull it off the rack, take it home in my bag, and add it to my collection that way. So yeah, I mean,
And I'll mention something else that I thought was really cool for Meigray is the while you were doing the jersey draft, I'm sitting at home scrolling Facebook, and they were live streaming.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, I'd love to see if I could see you, see where we're at. I think when I joined, it was pick number 4 was going on. I actually saw the mention of the trade that happened to switch that around. So I'm like, yep, let's watch through this, and you could hear them calling the name, and they kind of explain, hey, once you get it, hold it up really quick, we can get a picture of that. So it was cool to see the people go up there, kind of rifle through the racks, and like you said, you can tell kind of who had looked and already kind of planned ahead and knew what they were going for, because most of them were very quick grabs, and then show it off. And I watched you grab yours, and as soon as you got the new jersey, I was very excited for you, because I know that was one of your targets, either at the grab bag or at the sale itself. So it was fun. And so I think Meigray definitely needs to keep that up. The only thing suggestion, again, because I'm a techie nerd with running this and other stuff, is tie that live stream in to the microphone in the room somehow, put it on a mixer or something like that. Only reason is there was a lot of background chatter, so I could kind of hear names being called and some of the things said, but it was hard to hear. It was still cool to see, but again, because I'm such a technical person with that, that's how I would do that. But not knocking it, just as a future suggestion. But awesome, and thank you very much for doing that live stream.
Yeah. I wish I would have. I wish they would have let me do what I tried to do, which was I walked past the rack and tried to grab the Wayne Gretzky jersey as my selection at 11. As they had a Blues Gretzky jersey, which would have been a great selection at 11 for me.
Sure.
It was not on the rack, so I was not allowed to take that one home. But I certainly thought about it. No, but yeah, the whole thing is so much fun. I mean, like, again, like they have it, it's a well-oiled machine. I mean, obviously they've been doing it 20 years, which is like hats off to Meigray. You know, they've been doing it for 20 years. That's incredible, right? So I'm going to kind of jump back in. After the summer sale, got out of the warehouse, and I went with a group of friends like Mike Hessick, Dan Day, Matt McGonnell, John Mazala, I can't never pronounce his last name, and his girlfriend. You know, a group of people. We all went and went to a little place called 30 Burger, which was right across the way. Had a nice evening, you know, meal after the events, and trying to cool off from being in that warehouse for a number of hours. But you know, like that was part of the whole thing, right? Like part of all of this beyond the show was the connection to people. You know, meeting with the folks from Meigray was awesome. Meeting the people from the Hall of Fame. There were so many collectors around there, you know, the Brian Cliffords. You know, there were so many of my friends and people that I didn't know face to face. You know, my friends Jared and Katie came down from Springfield, who are big collectors of the Thunderbirds, who helped me out a lot with my stuff there. You know, the Hubbards brought me Dr. Peppers, which saved my life because I never needed to drink. You know, across the board, I mean, I had a blast, and I saw so many people. You know, Burt Woods and his daughter. I mean, I can go on and on. You know, Derek Whitworth. Like, there's so many people that I got to see, you know, face to face, and it was just. I'm forgetting people, so if I forgot to say your name, I'm sorry. We are limited on time, and I can't just go off a list of everyone I saw. But
be like giving an Oscar speech.
Yeah, no. So I mean, it was awesome. There were so many awesome people, and I had so many great conversations and saw so much stuff, and just a wonderful weekend. And I know we say it all the time, like get out to these things. Like, I mean, in my case, I do it for a lot of reasons. One being I like to promote my expo and my time in the hobby. I try to promote our show here. And I mean, damn it, I love this stuff and I have a good time, Um, it's not the same if there's those guys that like hide in their house with their stuff and they don't want anybody to know who they are and they don't want to whatever. Like, man, like you're missing out on so much of this hobby and so many parts of it that can be so fulfilling. So that's my take. Again, hats off to Meigray. I give it an overwhelming successful opinion in my part, and I look forward to doing it again with them and showing back up and doing another one in the future. So, if I did meet you or got to say hi to you, thank you for taking the time to come say hi to me. Thank you for all the kind words about our show. That was one thing that I thought was fantastic was how many people said that they enjoyed the show and gave feedback and opinions and everything. So thank you guys, because without you guys, like this isn't nearly as much fun.
And the number of messages I got from people there, from Cliffy and from others saying, "Hey, set up out here. I already talked to Wade, catching up, doing whatever." So even me not being there was cool, getting messages, and thanks to Meigray again, one, for hosting this, and two, all the social media, the amount of pictures that are out there. If you've not seen them, go check them out. You want to see what the layout look like, what some of the tables look like. I know they put a lot of pictures at the warehouse as well. So definitely check that out and support anyone that you can, or like we again knock at length is find a way to start your own. Doesn't have to be anything big, but do it, because I mean the number of posts I saw after the fact of people, "Hey, just got home, here's my haul from the expo," and
Yeah.
and just all the people that even weren't there just commenting, "Hey, great pickups. So glad you had fun." Just all those kind of things.
If you're in a city that has a hockey club, or you have a group of people and you don't know how to start one of these things, reach out. I'm happy to give you my suggestion. Heck, in some cases, I'd be happy to, help you put it together. Paul has his, I have mine. Like we work together in a lot of cases to help support this stuff. And I'm not above helping somebody start one and support one in another city that isn't my city. So that is always available. I'm pretty easily accessible.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. And the other thing I was going to ask you, how did the air tags work for you? Did you check in with them at all during?
So I actually have a great AirTag story. So I did. I checked. I put them in both my bags. I actually put them in my carry-on bag. So just to tell everybody how I traveled the jerseys, I had a regular gate check or carry-on bag that would fit in the overhead, and it's set up where I could probably get like 8 jerseys in there squeezed in. And there was an AirTag in that bag, and then my regular check bag had an AirTag in it as well. So it's actually really funny, and I don't know how it happened, and I'm not techie enough to know, but I did track them. So like when I flew out, I tracked them to make sure that my regular bag got on the plane and that all went well. And I really enjoyed having that because it was a little bit less stressful, because I did have jerseys in my check bag as well, right? So took a little of the stress away. So then on the way home, I had a couple extra jerseys, obviously. So I had to put a couple more in my check bag, which was no big deal. So I get to St. Louis, and my second AirTag that was in my check bag, I don't know what happened, if it tweaked out, but it started reading that it was in Florida when I landed. Right?
That was a little bit misread.
Yeah, right. It's like it's like it was in Tallahassee, Florida. It showed. So I go, like, I'm standing there at baggage claim, and I'm like, it starts like skipping around, and it says it's in Tallahassee, Florida, and it shows exactly where it is at an airport in Tallahassee, and I'm like, how is my bag in Tallahassee, right? So I go into the little room, like, and the bags haven't started coming out yet. And I go into the room and I'm like, "Hey, you guys sent my bag to the wrong place." And the guy's like, "Well, how do you know?" And I'm like, "I have an AirTag in there." And he goes, "Oh," and he goes, he goes, well, let's just give it a little time. He's like, sometimes those things get screwy from the flights or whatever. And I was like, dude, my AirTag's showing in Florida. Like, stop it. So he's like, well, just wait. So the stuff starts coming off the carousel. So I walk out and I'm like, kind of steaming. I'm like, pardon my French, but I'm like, fuck. Like, like there's jerseys in there. It's in Florida. This is going to mess up my whole rest of the day. So I like turned off the AirTag thing. I like closed the window, and then all of a sudden I saw my bag coming off. I turned it back on, and it popped back up in St. Louis. So I had no idea what happened because the AirTag was still
fast reroute from Tallahassee.
I was like spazzing out, and I'm like, oh my god. And so like I went in and like told the guy, and I didn't yell at him or anything because I'm not really like that guy. But I went in and I was like, it showed up, and he goes, yeah. He goes, occasionally that happens. He's like, I'm glad it showed up. And I was like, yeah, no big deal. And you guys might be able to tell me how it happened, but I was like freaking out. I'm thinking to myself, how did my bag get all the way to Tallahassee by the time I flew from Newark to St. Louis? But it worked out. But overall, like, it does give you a peace of mind because, like, God forbid if it, like in that case, if it was lost, I would have known exactly where it was, right? At some level. So I really liked it, but it was funny. And you guys, somebody can comment how that could have happened, but I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, I got all my stuff home safely.
My only explanation, which obviously isn't what happened because your bag was there, was that you included the AirTag in a trade. But you traded with someone going back to Tallahassee. And
yeah, no, it was still in my bag. It was wild, but it legitimately on my tracker said that it was in Florida. So I'm glad it worked out, but it was pretty funny. But yeah, I will still suggest using them, and I will use them in the future when I travel. As most anybody that knows me personally knows, I have dogs. So I actually, when I bought the AirTags, I bought 4 AirTags, and I went on Amazon and I found these like little things that I hooked on my dog's collars. So now each one of my dogs is AirTagged permanently on their collar, so that God forbid when they go on walks or when we go out or whatever, if one of them got away, they'd have an AirTag on. So I thought that was a great idea, which I kind of took away from buying the AirTags. But overall, like I said, fantastic time in New Jersey. Great food, great people, great show. Hats off to Meigray.
So
God bless her.
Quick Google search for your AirTag thing. Some of it has to do with if there's no other devices or anything else for it to ping off of. It just throws its hand up and goes, I don't know where I am. I don't know why it generated, because sometimes it says you just can't find it. Why it picked Florida to say it was there. But if there's no other devices for it to ping off of, it can't send out that location. But yeah, the fact that it randomly did that is hilarious, especially for you. But yeah, sometimes they said it in flights, if it's in the cargo hold and there's no other Apple devices around, it has no ability to send out its actual true location.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Like I said, it was fun. So thank you guys for the questions, and again, thankful for this show and the opportunity it provides us to get to know so many people in the hobby. So awesome time. Thanks again.
No, and I'm glad you had good travels both ways. Fantastic food. Your food pictures. The pizza made me super jealous because I'm a huge pizza fan and love the thin pizza like you were having too.
They actually, at the trade show, Hoagie had gotten pizza and brought that in from a local one, and it was like a real like the one I sent you the picture of was like a thinner crust, like Dave Portnoy style one that the place I love to go had as a new style. So I tried it and it was awesome. And then I got real Jersey pizza at the trade show, and it was like, I was like, oh man, do I need to eat pizza again? And I was like,
yes, you do.
So I definitely didn't lose any weight this weekend.
You made up for it for all the standing and walking around on Saturday.
True.
And you sweat. It sounds like you may have sweated it out in the warehouse.
Yeah, the warehouse got hot. There's a lot of people there, but man, even in the line, like there was a lady in front of me with a teenage son who was probably in his early teenage years, just starting out collecting, really learning about it. We had some really awesome conversations, like talked to them about the podcast and introduced myself, and they were great. And then like just even the joking around in the line made it bearable. and then just kind of watching what everybody was grabbing, and those $200 and $500 racks were a great idea, and there were so many fantastic values on there. I mean, there were some really really good jerseys. Like if you were just starting out or just trying to get some quality stuff in there, that $200 rack was a banger, right? Like you could start a pretty good collection off that rack,
And I know,
and
Paul, I think somebody had posted the list online because they did hand you guys one while you were in line.
correct.
Uh,
Yeah.
Do you happen to have it handy? I was just curious, got a couple ones off the 2 and the 500s.
I do. Hold on. You guys, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go grab it. Hold on.
Yep, no, you're good. While Wade's grabbing that, it is. I love that Meigray did that, and they have the ability to. But it's cool to find jerseys no matter what they cost. Sometimes, and like Wade said, if you're somebody that's starting out, or there's a particular team you like, or you want that team, and you don't care who's on the back, those are the ways to get some really nice deals. Up and the paperwork and Dr. Pepper. There you go.
I found a Dr. Pepper when I went to get the paper. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to take a drink.
There you go.
Cheers.
I actually, a side note, I meant to message you on Saturday, but knew you were busy as I was at Freddy's Frozen Custard. It's a restaurant they have around. I don't know if it's all areas or just Midwest, but they actually have a Dr. Pepper like ice cream float thing. And it's really good. I got it in your honor and was actually really impressed with it.
So I'm going to go over what I thought were the highlights. I'm going to start the $500 ones, or was there ones you wanted to like ask?
No,
about?
whichever. I had a hard time reading the list just because the picture showed the back too. So yeah, touch on the highlights from both lists.
So on the $500 one, I'm going to just hit some highlights. There was a Taylor Hall black set 3 playoff Bruin jersey, great jersey. Columbus Blue Jackets Patrick Liney blue set 1 with a 20th patch. It was a 1-game jersey, but still for $500, that's a superstar player, right? I'm going to keep going down. Tyler Sagan, Dallas Stars jersey. Patrick Sharp, Dallas Stars jersey. Jordan Eberle, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Matt Duchene, PK Subban, Jake Allen, Mackenzie Blackwood, Dougie Hamilton, Timo Myers, which was one of the ones that was showing. So they actually had a bunch of those jerseys. Like 4 or 5 of those were in there. So those are awesome. Another PK Subban Devils jersey. I mean, like those are all jerseys that if you're a big time collector, like those are some great gifts. Let's see, Travis Konechny, the Braden Shen I got, Burakovsky, Seattle Krakens, Ryan Donato Krakens, Yanni Gord, Adam Larson Krakens, the Jaden Schwartz I got, which I thought was another good one, Darcy Kemper Capitals jersey. And then like, if you jump into those $200 jerseys, again, it's going to be hard because these are harder to read. So bear with me. Connor Clifton, Boston jersey. That's a great one. Sean Corrali. I'm going to keep going through here. Tell me if you want me to stop. Cam Atkinson. Borkestan. Geez, I mean, like it's amazing. Scott Hartnell for $200, right? I mean, like that's a great jersey.
Oh yeah.
Like I can keep going. Brandon Saad Columbus jersey. I'm sitting on some of these guys that are Blues guys.
Yeah, see, I'd take a $200 Saad jersey since he played with St. Louis.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like some of these are just fantastic gets. Johnny Oduya, Dallas jersey. Like across the board, there's some great stuff in here. Dante Fabro, Nashville jersey.
So a lot of these names you're calling off right now, were they still available besides the 2 you picked up?
Look, like at the end of the thing, there was a small amount. So I think what happened was a lot of people took them off and then they got put back, and so then they got missed. So, but there wasn't very many left really at all. Just to hit a couple more names, a Colton Sissons for $200. It's almost crazy to go over some of these names. I'm skipping over some great names. Travis Zajac Devils jersey for $200. Mike Delzato Philly jersey. That's a guy who had a ton of games in the NHL. Kevin Hayes for $200. Andrew McDonald Philly jersey for $200. Prokhorov Philly jersey, $200. Luke Shen's 1,000 game NHL guy for $200. James Van Riemsdyk, Abe Kubel. I mean, you can just go down this list, and it's just amazing at who was in here, right? And that's hats off to Meigray for putting together a great list of stuff and providing, collectors an opportunity to really hit some home runs.
Yeah, and it's I say everybody seemed to enjoy themselves, and always a great show. So thank you again for doing all the coverage. I'm glad you got to visit friends, meet new ones, and give us some more reach outside of the normal Midwest area for sure, and of course West Coast with Paul.
I never got the recorder out. That was my only embarrassment, was I didn't get the recorder.
That's all right. You had a lot. I mean, you had a lot to juggle as is.
Somebody actually asked me about it. I said, man, I'm just not techie enough, I don't think. And really, I didn't have the time to really lock in for that. So I apologize that I wasn't, to any collector who wished that I would have done that, but we'll get it at a later date.
Yeah, nope. We'll definitely make up all that stuff, but I'm glad you had a great time. And I know, cause I had messaged you at one point in there, make sure Barry gets a set of our pictures. So I know you got one to him. So hopefully it'll show up in the background of a Meigray video or somewhere soon.
Yeah, it was fun.
But Paul, any final thoughts from you before we get out of here?
No, I'm just waiting for Meigray to send us trading cards of them.
Yeah. They might all the expos may start taking hints, or the podcasts making their own collector cards to pass around. That would be absolutely funny. I will say, kind of a side note thing, I was searching, just playing around the other day, a little bored at work, and searching for our podcast to see if I could find rankings anywhere. On Apple, we are ranked in the sports podcasts. I think we're ranked 163.
Wow.
I was a little surprised by that number, and I don't know. It was a third-party ranking system, so I don't know what all they pulled, but I was surprised to even see us show up on the list. So,
spitting chicklets better watch out.
Yes, and I know we get a lot of listens on Apple and iTunes. So, put a comment in there, things like that, because I'd like to see over the next few weeks if that number jumps at all. Just to see by changing the metrics around a little bit. But again, we thank you for all your support. I'm glad so many people came up to Wade, love it on the show, asking for swatches of his outfit. You're lucky you came home in clothes at all, the way people were asking for stuff.
We gave away a lot of stickers too, which I thought was pretty cool. So
and actually, and I apologize. I'll get in there right now because I meant to, again, juggling 4,000 things throughout the day. I forget half of what I want to do. But we did get a message from one of the collectors that met you out there. David Lenardi sent a picture on Sunday afternoon. He actually put it on the back of his Jeep. Put the dirty right above his Boston Bruins sticker. So it is on the back of his Jeep. Made sure to send a message. So it was so awesome to get a picture and see it on a vehicle. So David, I thank you for bringing that up. So I completely forgot it in my notes.
And thanks to Dan Day, brought some other stickers from some other expos that he's made and whatever. So shout out to Dan. And also shout out to Matt McGonnell for the cards. He obviously produces them. And he got a big kick out of the fact that they were there. So, pretty neat. Good people and good times.
Group effort. So I'm sorry, Paul, anything else before we get out?
No, I figure our ranking on the Apple charts is due to Wade promoting their air tags.
Could be. We're advertising for them. Let's bring them up the chain a little bit.
Yeah, product tie-in, it's we'll help them out, they can help us a little bit.
Exactly. But please continue to subscribe, share. If you want to come on, if you have suggestions, please reach out. Of course, you're going to get a surprise listening to this on a Wednesday morning instead of a Friday morning. But we'll be back next week on the normal schedule. I just have to travel, and while I could have actually probably taken this, I never trust hotel Wi-Fi with all the equipment. And I know I have a long day wandering around up outside of Chicago area. But I will report back on that next week. And again, shoot us messages. Let us know what you want us to cover, things like that. And we'll talk to you again next week.